This is Amateur Logic, episode 121 for September 15th, 2018. This episode of Amateur Logic is brought to you by MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com. And by Icom. See how you can get the most out of this contest season with Icom. Hi, welcome to another episode of Amateur Logic. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Emil.
And it's good to be back again.
Again?
As always.
Here we
Yep.
Tonight, Hamfest, boy, it costs...
A lot of Hamfest coverage.
Yep.
From all over the world.
From Huntsville?
Tokyo.
Wow. You know, Tommy and I were at Huntsville along with a lot of other friends.
Yeah.
Last month.
Yeah, we do go to Huntsville Hamfest pretty good bits. It's a lot of fun.
It always is, and see a lot of good friends there. The friendliest Hamfest in the world.
That's what they say.
And we had a couple of friends go to Tokyo, to the Tokyo Hamfair this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they had a great time.
That was Peter, VK3PB, and John Baggot, K2BAG.
Yeah. You always see the hats, the pictures of the hat.
Mm-hmm.
That's John.
So the hat was represented at the Tokyo Hamfair this year, Emil.
The Hats United?
The Hats United. And
Nice.
We've got the video evidence to prove it. So, a lot of fun stuff in the show tonight, and you don't want to miss it. I've got an email here that I've been holding on to since June. This comes from Jose Carlos Silva, CT2IOK, and he had seen the video I did of a heads-up display back, some months ago. Actually, was it maybe December 2017 episode, I think?
Yeah. Nice display there.
Yeah. You know, the old FT857D, the display's going bad in it. Built a heads-up display here using Arduino Mega and a color TFT display there. I thought it made, the radio quite presentable again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
Anyway, Jose wanted to know, do you have code to work with the Arduino Uno? So, no, unfortunately, the Uno just isn't up to the task. And I've had other people ask, can you use that heads-up display with different radios? And the version of the code I wrote there, no, it only works with the FT857D. You could use it with any radio that does cat commands if you want to go in and change the commands inside the code there. But you'd have to do a little programming.
Yeah.
So, not impossible, but if you're willing to do the work.
Right. And those, the Megas, though, they're actually, you can get the kind of the knockoff ones. They're dirt cheap.
Oh, yeah.
They work well.
They are.
Most of the time, the chip's soldered onto the board. You can't replace it if you need to.
Well, yeah.
On most of the cheaper ones, but you can get one very inexpensive to run that.
Well, the Megas only come with the, surface mount chip anyway.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the Unos that some of them, have the replaceable chip there. So, thanks for that email, Jose. Well, Huntsville Hamfest was a lot of fun this year, and this whole show tonight, there's going to be some strange things or unusual things.
Like that's something new.
Yeah, well, some unexplainable things tonight. This one, I'm sure you could explain it if you knew all the background on it, but hey, it's supposed to be 95% effective.
Yeah, that's what they said.
And it looks like something that I could use. Have you ever heard of a tornado alert, Emil?
No, but it sounds intriguing.
We've got Mickey Lee here from Early Alert. They do real-time weather management. Mickey, it is good to see you at Huntsville Hamfest this year. Tell me, what is it that Early Alert does?
Well, George, glad to be here. Thank you. Early Alert has a device called the Tornado Alert Unit, and it's a standalone device that's designed to fill some of those gaps in our warning system so that people are aware when there's a tornado that's approaching that they need to take shelter from.
So does this receive from NOAA Weather Radio, or how does this work?
No, it is not a NOAA weather radio. It's actually its own device. It's a detector in itself. It has an antenna in it that detects the electrical and electromagnetic energy emanating from a thunderstorm in their locale. It has about a 30-mile range, and it's really designed to give that early warning that other systems and other sources of warning don't allow.
So with that data, it can actually detect that there's a funnel cloud in the area or a severe thunderstorm or what?
Exactly. There's 5 different levels that the display will demonstrate, and I'll demonstrate for you here. The first level is, of course, that there's no threat, but the first level of detection is lightning. It'll actually show you how far away that source of energy is within that 30-mile range. So whether it's 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles away. The next level is a thunderstorm that's not severe. But when it goes to the next level is severe thunderstorm, and it'll actually sound an alarm that you hear, the audible alarm, as well as a strobe light for people that are deaf. But it's designed to make sure people are aware of that approaching threat. So think of the smoke detector in your house. It's a passive device that's simply there to detect the danger and then warn the occupants of the house. But this could be in any building or any location, but it's really there to make sure, regardless of whatever other systems there may be for warning, that they're aware. So if there's communication failures, if there's power outages, if the Weather Service never actually issues a warning, or if they're too late, or if they've only issued a severe thunderstorm warning when there's actually a tornado, this device will ensure that the people in that, the occupants in that house or in that building are aware.
So let me get this straight now. Does this unit predict or actually verify there is a severe thunderstorm or different levels of thunderstorm? Can it differentiate or identify a tornado within that?
Right. It can. Yes. So as it cycles up, it'll go to severe thunderstorm, and then the next level is tornado risk, which would be a tornadic thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado. And then that final level that it will display or it will alarm for is a tornado, actual tornado. And each one of those has a different signature that antenna is picking up, and that the microchip in here is assessing and determining that level of severity is in range of the location of the device.
So how much does a unit like this cost?
Our regular price is $84.95.
So you're not dependent on the National Weather Service forecasting and you actually being able to pick up the radio signals. This is just looking at the raw weather out there and determining this on its own.
Exactly. It's a complete standalone device. It's really designed to augment all that other weather information that you have or may not have. If the communications break down, if a power outage, if there's a failure of the Weather Service, maybe you're in a gap in the radar zones, in between radars. There's a lot of reasons why the warning system may not work in a given instance or in your location. This will cover all of those gaps.
Wow, well that is fantastic. Now, rechargeable battery?
It's got a backup battery. It's an AC power supply with a backup battery so that even if there is a power outage, it will continue to function.
Well, thanks for talking with us and making us aware of this. That sounds like a great device there, and just reading Mother Nature and telling what's going on.
Technology's made some great advances, and thank you, George, for having us on your show here.
One of the other things, George, that this is really great for is amateur radio operators always want to undo their antennas from their radios before they get maybe a lightning hit or whatever. This gives them a further advance notice of that. So we're saving that expensive radio gear.
Cool. Well, you just gave me an idea there.
Yes, sir. It's a great advantage.
All right, and you're David KB5EDB.
Yes, sir. I'm out of San Angelo, Texas, and that been a ham nearly 48 years. And so this is a great advantage that we use in conjunction now with everything else.
Cool. Well, thanks guys for talking with us today and letting us know a little bit about the tornado alert.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool. I was asking him at the end. It reminded me of. I always thought it was kind of an old wives' tale that you could put your television on channel 2, and when a tornado got closer, you could see the interference, the static on the TV change. But he did say that's the same principle it works off of. I forget what it's called, the Wheeler effect or something. I was going to look it up, but I was afraid to mess with the computer while the video was playing. But it's a pretty interesting device. Moving right along.
What are we going to do next?
Yeah, so we ran into our friend Bill Brown. He does the balloon launches and builds the cool little electronics for the balloon tracking. So we ran into him and I talked to him for a few minutes.
Yeah, he's done some updated stuff.
I was trying to see what's changed. You've seen Bill on here before, W8ELK, the guy that created the little transmitters that they're using on the balloons.
Oh, very fine to see you again. And we wanted to tell you a little bit about the new adventures that we've had with this over the past year since we last saw you.
Yeah, what has changed on it?
We've done some additional firmware to make it a little more power efficient, but pretty much it's the same board as what we had. We have a GPS receiver, the Atmel 328 processor, which is the same they use in the Arduino, and a little synthesizer transmitter, puts out a whopping 25 milliwatts, totally solar powered. We use powerfilmsolar.com flexible power solar cells, which are very lightweight and they're very rugged. We do a lot of school activities and launch these for anything from elementary, middle school, high school, and colleges. A lot of schools lately have been flying these as a STEM project, and the problem is they like to touch it a lot, and when we launch them, sometimes they crash into the ground if it's a high wind. And so these flexible panels will survive a lot of abuse. So they aren't as efficient as the monocrystalline, but I built it for ruggedness and for that kind of stuff. And I have a supercapacitor on the back. That's actually a half farad capacitor. Now, the maximum voltage on this is 5.5 volts. You don't want to go over that. Ask me how I know. Sounds like an M80 firecracker when it goes off, because once I forgot and I put a 9-volt battery pack on it, bang! Took about a minute.
Oh, wow.
So we use guitar string for the antenna wires, 19 inches up and down. I have these coiled up for display, but they just pop out. I unwind it here. I did it the wrong way, but
So this particular one does APRS for the telemetry, right?
2-meter APRS every 2 minutes. You see it's 19.5 inches long. This is number 13 gauge guitar string. Everything has to be as lightweight as possible because we want to create a tracker that is 12 grams or less. And so basically less than half an ounce. And this, we used a circuit board that is about a third the normal thickness, and I had to special order that from a PC board house to get the weight cut down on this. And that really cuts down the weight to get a thin PC board, and it's still sturdy enough that it'll handle the flight parameters environment.
So do you stuff the boards yourself?
I do. I have a couple people helping me build these at the moment, but shortly I'll be going into an assembly house and getting more produced. But it takes a while. I mean, I have to have a magnifying glass and a fine-tipped iron, real fine solder, and a steady hand.
Yeah, so you're doing it.
I supply these completely assembled at the moment, so that it's not in kit form. And I program them with a call sign, and they transmit every 2 minutes, as long as it's sunny.
Yeah, well, you beat me to the next question then, because I was going to ask you, if you buy it, can you program it yourself, or do you have to get it
At
pre-programmed?
the moment, I am programming the call signs in directly when I get an order with the call sign and the SSID APRS extension number. I have a Whisper version on 20 meters available as well, and the difference there is it transmits 2 minutes for the Whisper transmission with your regular call sign, the grid square, and what normally is the power field, I use that for the altitude. So I can encode altitude in that last power field transmission. There's not a lot of room in Whisper format to do things like altitude, temperature, and battery voltage. So I send a second transmission with either a call sign that begins with a 0, 1, or Q, which are invalid call signs. There are no call signs that begin with that. But since it follows right after my normal call sign, it's legal to do within that 10-minute segment. And I embed the telemetry into the call sign fields. And then the final power field is the fine power, the fine altitude. So I can get 60-meter increments with the Whisper. So I wrote a Python program, familiar with Python. It grabs the data from Whisper. Whisper has a website called whispernet.org, WSPRnet.org, and anybody that receives a Whisper transmission anywhere in the world ends up with the software, it sends it to their server. So you can look on their database and see, just like APRS.FI, you can see who is picking up your Whisper transmitter. So I grabbed that data, both my regular call sign transmission and the telemetry transmission right after it, mixed them together, format it into APRS format, and send it to the APRS servers. That way a Whisper transmitter on a balloon shows up just like it was an APRS transmitter.
Well, that's pretty
So
tricky.
if you've ever seen a balloon out over the middle of the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean and wondered, how did they receive that? That's the reason. There was a Whisper 20-meter balloon.
Well, that's pretty cool.
But the schools love it because if you can get a student to track something on their smartphone, you've got them hooked into amateur radio.
Yeah, so I'm just curious. I've said it before. Well, this is one of the things on my ham radio bucket list. Before I check out of here, one of these days, I want to do one of these myself. I'd like to do it sooner than later. What would it cost? Like generally, what's it ballpark cost? I know there's some variables to get started.
Right now, I'm selling these for $149 for the tracker, ready to fly. And I usually include some weights and things to inflate the balloon so you know exactly how to get the lift just right. You have to be very precise in how much free lift, the amount of lift over the weight of what's flying below the balloon, or the balloon will pop. So for these Mylar party balloons, which are 3 foot in diameter, they usually cost about $3 a piece. But you have to get 3 grams of lift. If you go above that or below that too much, over that it'll pop. Below that it may not float. So
What's the weight of it?
12 grams.
12 grams.
So I like to say a nickel weighs 5 grams and a penny weighs 2.5 grams. So what I generally do is when I attach this to the balloon, I put a penny on it. If it still goes up, I know I've got enough lift. I take the penny off, put a nickel on. If it starts going down, I know I'm in the right range.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's very,
That's
very
my
fine.
final double check before I launch.
Not a lot of room for error there.
We're talking 1 gram, plus or minus a gram. So that's not a lot of weight.
So that, and then
The key to making a successful flight that will float.
yeah. So earlier when I was chatting with you, you said that you can use helium or nitrogen.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen will last longer. It doesn't leak since it's it's H2, so it's bigger than the helium. So it doesn't leak through the balloon as much.
Okay.
So you get a lot more lifetime with a Mylar party balloon, the ones that cost $3. With the helium, you get about 10 days to 2 weeks flight time on one if you don't hit a storm. with hydrogen, you can get upwards to 3 weeks to a month.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a big difference. And you'll fly a couple thousand feet higher.
What's the longest balloon that you've had up?
So far, I flew a special balloon. It's made out of basically a plastic wrap. It's like a sushi wrap. And Scientific Balloon Solutions sell them. It's their model SBS 13. They're about $129. They're out of California. It's scientificballoonsolutions.com. And that balloon combined with this, got a 75-day flight out of it. I went around the world over 6 times. And it was transmitting on whisper, so I know exactly where it landed. If you want to go get it, it's in the Ivory Coast of Africa in the jungle. So
Yeah, that's
on an expedition to go find it. That'd be the way to go.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
But you could expect could be more than 1 month on one of those balloons if you get it to float right. And it'll be higher, about 40 to 42,000 feet. And so you'll be above most of the weather. And that's the key, is getting above the weather.
So, and one last question. I know you got to go do a talk. What special clearance do you have to get from the airport, the FAA, or anybody?
Standard balloon flights, you have a 12-pound limit, 6 pounds per payload, and without having to file any fancy paperwork. This is half an ounce, so we're well under that limit.
So you can just go and launch it without having to worry about that.
Now, if you're next to Huntsville International Airport and you're launching in their flight path, you probably want to call the tower first. Or
always use sense on anything.
A NOAA. But generally, you don't have to worry because this is a party balloon and a half-ounce tracker, so there's no danger present with it.
Well, that's fascinating stuff. I appreciate you taking the time.
I do have one last thing. I do have an algorithm in here that prevents me from transmitting over the United Kingdom, which has a rule against flying amateur radio and aerial devices like airplanes or hot air balloons or kites or balloons. You can't do it in the United States in their amateur radio rules. But there's 2 other nations I have to avoid transmitting over. One is Yemen. Can you guess what the other one is?
Iraq?
North Korea.
North Korea. Oh, yeah, I guess I should have known that.
Start World War III.
Well, that's pretty cool. I guess you've thought of a lot of stuff in the software. How big is your sketch?
Oh, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's about 16K.
Oh, wow.
I've been working on it for a long time. The Whisper takes a lot, and the APRS actually is a pretty big program, too. If anybody wants to find out more information, you can contact me, WB8ELK, my call sign, at gmail.com.
Okay, cool. Yeah, appreciate you taking the time to show it to us again.
Sure.
You know, that thing just keeps getting better and better. And I bet you can predict tornadoes with one of those too.
Yeah, if you just send it up and watch it when it starts twirling around.
On the GPS?
Oh yeah, instead of visually?
Yeah. Yeah. Or you can put hydrogen in it and,
Yeah.
you know, that might create a nice effect.
He's done a really nice job with those things.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing. He just constantly improving it too.
Yeah.
So
And I know 16K doesn't sound a lot in today's world, but when you're writing it, it is.
Well, for an Arduino sketch, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thanks for talking with us about that, Bill. You know, we see him at different events, and he's always tweaked on it a little bit and got something going a little better with it.
It's very interesting stuff. Like I said, that's one of the things on my bucket list. One day before I check out of here, I'm going to do one of those.
Okay. Well, we'll be back in just a minute because we've got a lot yet to go. So first, let's get a message from Icom.
Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. Icom offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of contest season with these transceivers. The competitive edge you've been looking for, raise the bar and hear what others cannot with this flagship HF 50 MHz transceiver, the IC7851. Reciprocal mixing dynamic range, crystal clear local oscillator design, spectrum scope, dual receivers, and digital voice recorder. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for contesting season. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The new Icom IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of a SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling, 110 RMDR, independent dual receiver, dual digicell. IC7300 is changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on all the great Icom radios.
Speaking of that, the D-Star QSO party's coming up again, September the 22nd. It'll be lasting from 0 UTC to 2400 UTC.
Wow.
So that should be a lot of fun. I did a segment on that a couple years ago, I guess. I don't think it was last year, but anyway, it's always a lot of fun. So anyway, check that out.
Yep. Well, we haven't done any swag photos here lately on the show. We've done some in the past, and they have been kind of stacking up on us.
Yeah, I think we missed them last month because of some reason or another, but yeah, there's quite a few.
Well, let's get on into a few of them we got this month. This first one is, oh boy, I can't pronounce his last name. Maybe you guys can help me out there. It's Don K4EAE from Jacksonville, Florida. He was visiting Falls Mendenhall Glacier in Alaska.
Alskog?
How did you pronounce it?
Alskog?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But boy,
man, that's a beautiful place, isn't it?
Boy, it sure is. I think that's probably the farthest north the swag has been yet.
And that's a darn good looking hat he's got on too.
Oh yeah. Well, he probably couldn't stay out there without that hat on because of the temperature. It's Kevin I, VK4IVE. He's the president this year of the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club. And we got to spend a little time with Kevin hanging out, and somebody snapped a shot there because Kevin's got the swag on.
He does.
Yep.
And he's in the chat room, of course.
Looking good.
Yep. So, Kevin, thanks for representing there.
Malcolm Parsons, KI4KI. Anyway, he's got, I kind of got the picture cut off, but he's actually got on the exact same shirt I've got, same color, everything.
Yeah. Well, it is two different shirts. It's not the same one.
It's a very similar shirt.
Okay.
It would have been kind of crowded.
Well, yeah. We don't have a model like that yet.
Yeah.
Who else we got, Emil?
VE3MIC, Buddy Mike, and his friend.
And he was at, I think it's pronounced Ontars Hamfest, Milton, in Canada, from the Burlington Amateur Radio Club.
Burlington, I used to go up there.
Yeah, Mike's in the chat room over there right now.
Looking sharp, Mike.
Yep.
Tame from Finland, OH7T.
I don't know where exactly he was.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but hat's looking good there. I don't know where that is, but that's pretty scenery.
Yep. And he sent us another one. This one,
I'm assuming it's in Finland somewhere.
yeah. Oh, maybe. There's a good chance. This one is his trailer, and I don't know how to pronounce this either here. It's Horpy.
That's pretty good.
That's the best I can do with it. HOERPPY.
Yep.
He's got an 80-foot tower on it there.
Oh, wow.
He said he's carrying a heavy load. But look at that long piece there and how he's handling that.
Oh, wow.
He's got it strapped down to a dolly there. And I guess I don't know if it's too long to carry on the trailer. Is that how you do it?
I don't know.
Because
That's
otherwise,
not really how I do it, but
No.
If it works for you, I guess.
well, he's got a hat on it right there.
Yeah,
so
that probably makes it
See that?
better.
Yep.
That probably makes it okay. That's pretty interesting.
And, well, email, I bet you know this guy that posted this one right here.
Oh, I sure do. Ralph Mills, AB10P, is apparently a dental visit of sorts.
Yeah.
The hat's just hanging out, waiting for him to come out, I guess.
Check your hat at the door.
DX Intel was the
DX Intel.
yeah, that was the name he had saved. That came from a Google Plus post. Tommy, you know this guy right here. He was spotted in Tokyo.
Yeah, Michael Calter, W8CI from the Dayton Amateur Radio Club.
Yep. I think you know who posted this one too, Neil.
K2BAG. This is Akinhabara Knobs.
No.
Did I say that right?
It's knobs that he's showing, and they're in whatever you said there.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of electronic shops over there. That's where he got those from.
But I think he referred to them as like chicken head knobs.
Those are chicken head knobs, and you can kind of figure why they're called that. And we've never spotted that many with a hat before.
Never. Not in the wild.
Now we got another one here. This is unknown. I'm not. Who is this, Tommy?
You know what? That one I did not get his call sign. Anyway.
Well,
I didn't get his call sign.
Sorry about that. That was
I don't remember it, or met him at Huntsville. There was so many people, but I don't remember. I apologize for that.
That's a shame, because if I had aimed that camera a little bit lower, he probably had on a badge there with his call sign and everything. One final swag photo here. Now this is not swag that's out in the wild yet. This is something that's on prototype. You might see it come up in
still in development.
Yeah, you might see it come up in a Christmas catalog or something somewhere.
Oh, it's beta swag.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
From the Propeller Hat Society.
Yeah. VE3MIC did that for us a while back.
Well, I was given a lesson during field day, so it's appropriate.
And it was pretty hot.
It was.
Yeah.
We should probably get some of those for here when we can't run the AC.
Hey, you giving me an idea? Thanks, everyone, for wearing the swag there. And,
appreciate it. And appreciate you guys representing at the Hamfest. It's always kind of nice to see the swag when you go to those things.
It is. I think I had a pronunciation error here. I think that's what's got me confused.
You're not a professional pronunciator?
No, not like Don Wilbanks. I'm here at the Ute Lounge in Huntsville, and boy, they have some excellent activities going here today. There's robots, there's machines racing behind us, there's people soldering, just all kinds of stuff here. We're going to hunt down Monty Bateman, who kind of heads up this division of the Hamfest, and find out what's going on this year. And here's Monty.
Hey, George. Thanks for coming, guys. This is the Youth Lounge at the Huntsville Hamfest. We've got some new things this year I want to show you. We've got some snap-together electronics kits so the kids can build circuits. This young man here has built what's called a flying saucer. Show him how it works. We've got an FM radio receiver, 2 or 3 other kits here that the kids can build and learn a little bit about electronics. And it's been a big hit because there have been kids here nonstop all day since we opened. This is a new addition to the Youth Lounge this year. And then here's another new addition to the Youth Lounge is we're going to, here in a little bit, set up a bunch of Arduinos and teach kids how to program and blink some lights on the Arduino board.
Now you're talking about having my kind of fun.
Oh, well, software, hardware, it's got to be in one of the places. This is our 9th year to do a Youth Lounge here at Huntsville. And every year we've had these solder kits, and it's a very, very big hit. A lot of kids love to do solder kits. And what we do here is have them build a little Morse code sender, complete Morse code, all in one board with the key. And kids can build these in about 30 or 45 minutes. And every one of them takes one home working.
I see you've got an expert solderer going there that's doing the training. It looks like a familiar name over there, maybe.
That's my oldest son, James. He spends his summer with kids at Space Camp, so he's good at working with school-age children, and it's something that he does a lot, and he's good at teaching them how to do things.
What is happening here?
These kids are playing Morse code bingo. It's always a big hit, and we have little prizes we give away for whoever gets to bingo first, and helps them learn a little bit about Morse code. A lot of the kids on the robotics team have a 3D printer, and there are lots of different kinds of 3D printers. So here we've got 3 different ones we're going to show you. And so this little one that's made out of laser-cut plywood was the first 3D printer that was bought by a team member, and it's still working, and it's printing the little robot souvenirs. So you can see each one and how they all work a little bit differently, but they do the same thing.
Now, what is controlling this one right here? Does it have its own controller, or is it a computer, or what?
It's got an Arduino board that runs the whole thing, and you upload a file from your computer to the Arduino board, and then it just draws it out. Those are souvenirs that we print to give away. That's actually a robot whistle. And then in the other box down the table is just little printed robots that the kids like to take.
So I guess this is a pretty good step up here.
Yes, it is. That's a newer by about 2 generations. And so it does the same thing. It's printing a robot. And or maybe that one's printing a flower. And yeah, it's printing a flower. And so that's obviously a commercial, works out of the box kind of printer. The one on the end is made by a company called Prusa, and they're out of the Czech Republic. We ordered that from Prague, and it was shipped here from Prague as a kit. It's brand new, literally about a month old, and it is amazing how many advances the 3D printing has made in the last 3 or 4 years. It's very, very, very advanced now in terms of the software and the way it controls things, and the print quality is really, really good.
What are the prices running on 3D printers these days? Have they come down?
You can buy a really nice printer for $600 or $700, and if you've got time to test and tweak and experiment, you can buy a pretty decent one for $200 or $300.
So how many members on the team?
It varies, depending on school year to school year, but usually 6 or 8.
How do you place in the regionals or nationals or whatever? I'm unaware of the structure of the competitions.
Last year, not this past year, but a year ago, we made it to the World Championships in Houston.
Wow.
So, not bad.
Not bad at all. Now, this is Megan, the spokesmodel for the robotics team here. And Megan, how long have you been coming here doing this?
This is my 2nd year with the team.
And how old are you?
I'm 16.
16. So tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
So each year we're given a competition and we have to build a robot to complete the tasks. And this year we had to pick up foam cubes and stack them into columns, and we're going to find out what our new challenge is September 8th. When we find out what it is, we'll have a certain amount of time to build a robot until our competition, which is going to be in early February.
What are these guys and gals doing here behind us right now?
So we built 3 little robots so kids could drive it at our outreach events. So these 2 ladies are showing them how to drive and then just letting them have fun.
So did they ever destroy any robots while they're playing here?
Occasionally. A lot of times there's a lot of interference here, so when they bump into each other, the robots disconnect. So we kind of ask them to keep away from each other, but we haven't had too big of a problem.
Would you recommend this for the average school ager, say middle school, or how young of age would you go down to?
Honestly, I would recommend it for anybody because it is such an incredible learning experience. Not only do you learn how to build robots and program, you learn so much. You learn about public speaking and you learn how to put things together. It's an incredible experience and you learn so much more than you ever would in a classroom.
Well, Megan, thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
They had a really nice lounge.
Oh, yeah. They always do.
The youth lounge.
Youth, yeah. That's how you say it.
You don't see that at too many Hamfests. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I haven't seen it at any. Not to that extent. They did a really nice job with it.
Actually, well, not to that extent, but coming along, the one at Dayton this year had.
Yeah, the one at Dayton did have quite a few things in it.
Yeah, it was coming along.
Yeah.
You know.
Well thought out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
it's
well
nice.
thought out. And I think we probably got some more footage of them doing this in Tokyo.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of short, but I think we got some a little later in the show here.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, that's basically all we shot at Huntsville this year, except one other thing here. I got together with our friend Wayne, KG5RE, at the end of it, and we ran into another familiar face there too. Well, there's not much time left here at the Huntsville Hamfest for this year. Wayne, how did you make out?
I did okay. Spent a little more money than I thought I was going to, but ran across the deal and couldn't pass it up.
What was that deal now?
I found me a second little Tar Heel 2 that was used, and from all indications, it seems to be A-okay, but we'll find out.
Now, you bought this so that you could put it on your second vehicle, right?
Yeah, I finally, after 52 years, was able to afford a second vehicle, and I've got a big pickup now, so I just, after having had the first Tar Heel, there was no doubt that I had to have a second one to go on that vehicle as well, so that's kind of what I was looking for, and actually that was the only Tar Heel I saw used for sale at the whole Hamfest.
Yeah, once you've had one of those, it's hard to go back to a regular antenna. Well, I know that you're going to need a rig to go with that Tar Heel as well.
He's going to ship me one of everything. He said he'd ship me one of everything at no cost, so I'm just waiting for him to arrive.
He's trying to get me in trouble, everybody. That's not official.
No, that's totally unofficial, I think.
Don't worry, Ray. It's okay. It's all right.
But he should put in, what rig should he put in his mobile?
Oh, well, what do we want to do in the mobile? I heard we got a new HF, new Tar Heel, so I think the 7100 might be a pretty good fit, Wayne.
It could be.
I think it would be an excellent fit. Now you can just pass me the money under the camera here. All right, good Hamfest this year.
It was a great Hamfest this year. 2-day show. We're here, of course, on Sunday. Sunday's always a little bit slower, but yesterday was really something to write home about. It was a big, great crowd. Today has been quite good as well. No complaints at all. Good traffic through the Icom booth. A lot of questions about the new 7610, which we're excited to be showing and shipping and selling to everybody. And always having a good time in Huntsville every year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Ray was here yesterday. I haven't seen him this morning. He ran off and left you again to pack all this up, didn't he?
He did. It's okay. He's the boss man. That's his prerogative. He had to catch a flight, had to get back home, so he had to hit the road. But it's okay. We got a good setup here. It's nice and easy to pack back up, and I'm sure I'll be on the road without too much hassle.
I'm sure you will, because I know for a fact Ray has packed up this setup right here many times by himself.
We get good at it. Ray is the absolute the best at it. He's been doing it for the longest of anybody, but I've gotten pretty good at it over the past few years here as well, so we'll get it all taken care of for sure.
All right, good to see you again, Will, and I guess I probably won't see you again unless you come to Jackson this year. I probably won't see you till the Hamvention.
Well, that'll be all right. It's always a pleasure to see you guys. Always a pleasure to say hello to the world, as it were. And we'll see you at the next one.
All right. 7-3.
73s.
7-3.
And now let's go get your rig. He didn't get a rig.
He didn't?
Nope. So
Well, he's got the antenna. He's ready for it.
he does have the antenna. I need another Tar Heel antenna. I need one for my pickup.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He's way ahead of me. The last time we were there at Huntsville, he tried to get me to get one of those Tar Heels, so he's got 2-0. He's
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, once you've had one of those, you really won't want another mobile antenna.
Yeah.
It's just, it's life-changing, Emil.
Yep.
It's
not
a life-changing experience.
Yeah,
huh?
it's not cheap, but yeah, it really is. Because you can say, I want to be on 20 meters and just hit the button and go there. Don't have to pull off the road. Pretty nice. Well, Emil, you got an email
Say that
for
3
us tonight.
times real fast.
Yeah, this is from our from a ham who is after my own cheap credo here, and he learned about the geocrons and also about the prices of the geocrons. and decided to make one of his Raspberry Pis using the Sun Clock application. A fascinating project for the Pi. Goes down the cheap old man use for Pis. And I loaded it up. It was very easy to do, and it's amazing what you can do with it. There's a few articles that show you how to morph the images from night with lights, world maps, really nice looking maps compared to the daytime area in that Sun Clock app. So neat stuff, and right down the cheap old man alley. It's Eric Wooster is a K4PYR was the guy who sent that in. So thanks, Eric. Awesome.
Yeah, that really looked nice. Mm-hmm. And compared to buying one, wow. No comparison, huh?
No. I mean, the newer one came down in price, but you still have to have that 4K television if you want to have that high resolution of the new Geochrons. They are fascinating, too, but not cheap old man compliant, for sure.
No. I'd buy a Tar Heel first. Then you can get one. Well, guess what we're going to look at next?
Donnie, get a photograph of him now. I think
Neither one of you going to guess?
Alrighty then. He sure did look familiar.
He did look kind of familiar. We're going to be back. We've got some coverage from the Tokyo Hamfair with Peter, and guess who else was there? The Hat.
The Hat.
Yep. But we'll be right back. First, message from MFJ, and boy, we got a lot to go here.
We do. We're not even halfway through.
This year at Dayton Hamvention, MFJ introduced the new MFJ 1886 wideband receiving loop. This antenna covers all the way from 500 kilohertz for the standard AM broadcast band through 30 megahertz with no tuning required. You can dig out previously unreadable signals and track down annoying sources of interference with the MFJ 1886. This receive loop gives you tremendous power to copy weak signals through impossibly strong levels of QRN or QRM. Its superbly direct development and bulletproof low-noise preamp dig out buried signals normally lost when using wire antennas. You'll get the perfect loop balance for deep, precise nulls. The dual MMIC push-pull preamplifier provides wide dynamic range. Phantom power is provided to the preamp through your coax by the included AC adapter and bias tee. The indestructible aircraft-grade 36-inch aluminum loop offers great portability at 2.5 pounds, and the tough-molded weatherproof enclosure is perfect for outdoor installations. It mounts with regular TV hardware. Its standard U-bolts work with any conventional 1 3/4-inch mast, and all mounting hardware is included. This loop is a powerful tool that will help you locate those noise sources you can suppress and null out those that you can't. Hear the signals you never knew were there with the new MFJ 1886 wideband receiving loop antenna. Check out this and the world's largest selection of ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com today.
That last video there, Tommy, did you notice anybody in there?
No, but I was trying to figure out what that costume that girl's supposed to have had on. There was some significance to it, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently Peter was in there. So.
Yeah, Peter was in there, standing right in front of him.
I very briefly saw Peter.
Yeah. Well, there's the costume he had. He just kind of blended into the background. You couldn't really tell he was there, but I think you'll see what I'm talking about. What are we going to look at here, Emil?
I want to say that this is going to be VK3PB and K2BAG's introduction to the Tokyo Hamfair, where they were the crew who were there and got to see it all and shared it with us.
Well, hello everybody and welcome from Japan. I'm Peter Berrett and I've got John Baggot, K2BAG, here with me, and we've come to Tokyo for Hamfair 2018. Well, how was your trip over, John?
Long, but very, very great.
Oh, that's great. You of course, flew business class. Which
Absolutely. All those miles.
Yeah, it's well worth it using the frequent flyer miles. And I've come over myself from Melbourne, Australia, and I also went business class, but I came with JAL, Japan Airlines, and just want to a big shout out to the people there for the excellent service that they provide. And I'll be heading back with Qantas in a week or two, which is great. But we're here for Hamfair, and Hamfair is one of the biggest ham swap meets, if you want to call it that, in the world. It's in the same sort of scale as Dayton or Friedrichshafen, and I've heard a lot about it, but thought, well, let's go have a look at it.
Absolutely. I read on the website 38,000 people on the 2 days they're expecting through here.
Yeah, and look, just looking at it, there's two major halls here that I can just see, just looking at it, and one thing that is worrying me, and we haven't done any interviews yet, is simply the question of, well, is anybody going to speak any English? I don't know about that. But look, anyway, I've been having a great time here in Japan. Have you had a chance to do much, John?
We've been here about 2 days now, and we've done some. We're still getting over the jet lag, because from the US, it's a 22-hour journey that we went through. But yeah, it's a brilliant city. My second time here. The people are amazing. You must know that yourself.
Absolutely. The people are probably the friendliest. I rank them equal with the Balinese in terms of the friendliest people in the world. And they just they will go out of their way to help you, even if they don't speak any English. And unfortunately, most of the time they don't speak a lot of English, or the English they do speak, it can be a bit difficult to understand at times. But as I say, the people are really, really friendly. The food is unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get all types of food that you want here, and the Japanese cuisine is great as well. Anyway, that's a good start off from us. So let's head on into the stalls and have a look what's in Hamfair.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get in there. The Kenwood's booth is right there.
Okay, thanks, John.
So he's the one that's hauling the hat all over the place, or the hat's all in him.
The hat's all in him, I think, is the way it goes.
So he gets a lot of miles in for sure.
I wonder who the camera person was.
I think it was maybe John's wife. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Talking a little earlier about the youths.
Not the Utes.
Not the Utes. and they have those in Japan too. Right there at the Tokyo Hamfair.
Go figure.
Yep. We got the soldering irons out, starting them young men. Pretty good
little turnout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a real good turnout.
Pretty good size forum there, it looked like to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with Sakai, AB5MF, and he's showing me you're from the Japan Shortwave Club, is that right?
Yes, I'm with the Japan Shortwave Club. It's probably the longest history in Japan as a shortwave listeners club. And this is my recent kind of job, but just I used a selfie and then tripod for camera, and then this is some stuff when I found which I found at the Home Depot.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
it's everything is just homemade, and this is except this one. This is the amplifier for shortwave band, as well as the medium wave.
So this is a broadcast loop antenna and shortwave.
Yeah, receiving broadcast.
Okay,
yes.
And from what megahertz to what megahertz does it tune?
Okay, this covers the medium wave and in the shortwave up to 30 megahertz.
30 megahertz,
yes.
Well, that's quite
it's a
broadband, yeah. That'll cover most of the shortwave bands, which is really good.
Yep.
And of course it amplifies as well,
yes.
not just tunes, amplifies as well. And obviously being a loop antenna, it would be very directional.
Yes.
So you can null out interference as well.
Yes. Our typical issue is the noise.
Yes.
Noise is definitely getting higher and higher when I was young. So rather than wire antenna and a loop antenna, is probably for me it's mandatory now. So just turning the loop to avoid the noise.
Okay, this is a fantastic design and it looks very cheap to make. Is there a website somewhere where people can look at how you made this?
Okay, I have my own website for shortwave listening, and which is the shortwave sound clip, and maybe you can Google that. But I haven't put this information yet, so maybe I'm going to put it soon.
Well, I think a lot of people would appreciate it. By the way, I did a lot of shortwave listening myself when I was younger, and I remember my absolute best QSL card was from Radio Tampa.
Radio Tampa?
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but the card would fold up at the ends, right? Okay. And there were two little holes, and you put little plastic eyelets in there and look through. Oh. And on the back was a map of Japan, and it was 3D.
So yes, three-dimensional. I don't think I've seen that before.
Well, it was a
very unique
card. Yes. It was really good. Yeah. Anyway, nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for stopping by.
Arigato gozaimasu.
That antenna, I gotta agree with them on that one. Now it's awesome.
I like
similar
that.
to the Delta loop I put up in the backyard. So it's the way it's oriented like that is horizontally polarized. That's a great receive antenna.
Yeah, it really is. Well, what are we looking at here, Emil?
I'm thinking this is their version of our ARRL, the JARL.
Japanese Amateur Radio League.
No doubt further than the science and arts of radio.
Oh, yeah. Those are the folks who created the D-Star standard years ago.
Sure was.
So, and a lot of good things they do. You know, on the cutting edge for sure. Well, I don't know what to say about this next one other than I believe this is an amateur radio related podcast that's this guy is doing over in Japan. And I won't try to pronounce the name of it, though. We'll let them do it.
We're here with Rio, JG1ITH, okay? And you actually do a podcast here in Japan.
Yeah.
Right?
So we are a program for the amateur radio here, and we are a local community FM radio, and the very limited area. But we are broadcasting through the podcast or internet as well.
Okay, so if is this in Tokyo?
Yes.
In Tokyo. So if I had my radio, where would I tune on the radio? What's the name of the station?
Oh, called FM Power Room, located in the Mito City, very 150 kilometers from Tokyo metropolitan area. So we cannot listen the radio directly here in Tokyo.
Right.
But only for the internet.
And what frequency is it on?
76.2 megahertz. 76.2.
76.2.
Yeah.
Okay, 76.2 is a leaflet. And what time and what day is your program on?
Sunday evening from 9 o'clock.
Yep, Sunday evening from 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock for the 40 minutes program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And you obviously talk about ham radio.
Right.
That's really good. Well, for anybody, but it's in Japanese, isn't it?
Only in Japanese. Sorry about
Japanese.
that.
Okay. Well, for our Japanese viewers, check out their program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Arigato
Nice to meet you.
gozaimasu.
Okay.
So interesting stuff going on there. The podcasting thing has really taken off in recent years.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's everybody and his brother's trying to do one now.
Yeah, but I guess it's good to know they've got some going over there too, because a lot of those folks over there may not understand our southernese here.
I was going to say we should get into some video podcasting or something.
Maybe so.
That's not a bad idea, Emil.
Well, Tommy, what are we going to look at next?
You know, I've been so excited to get to this. I announced it earlier, but anyway, Peter ran into some guys with some QRP kits there. We're going to take a look at that.
I've got a special treat here for you all. I'm here with Junichi, JL1KRA. Pleased to meet you, Junichi. Now, you've got a little kit radio here, okay? Do you want to tell us about it, the specifications and, what it costs and what it can do?
This is a 2-band QRP radio named HT1A. And this is a 40 meter, 20 meter, CW only, and 5 watt full gallon QRP. and I'm distributing this kit for the amateur who like making something by themselves. That's the nature of amateur radio people. And if one receives the kit, the small mounted parts are already installed, and rest of the parts who bought this kit built into this board and assembled to the chassis, and he can obtain his own radio. So this is what we are doing.
Yeah, so you've got the surface mount already done.
Yeah, that's a difficult one recently.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that can be a problem with some kits, that you have that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a little LCD display as well, which is good. Now, you talked about the transmission. So it's, is it just one frequency, crystal controlled, or can it be anywhere on the 40 meter band?
That's a good question. This transceiver is DDS, direct digital synthesis. So as well as the VFO, analog VFO, we have many transceivers. Even this small transceiver can cover 40 bandwidth inside amateur radio. Even we can receive the broadband, the broadcast band.
Okay, so when you say 40 meg, you can do that. For transmit, can I change it from, say, 7025 to 7050? Yeah, just with tuning.
Yes.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yes.
But of course, the receive bandwidth is much broader than the transmit bandwidth. So I read there, I think it was 5.9 megahertz up to what on receive? Receive only.
Receive only. Outside amateur radio, the CPU is prohibited transmitting, so it's very safe. Yes. It can agree to the FCC or Japanese government specification.
What I mean though is if I tune for just to listen, not to transmit, right?
Yeah, not transmit outside band.
Yeah, okay. From what frequency to what frequency?
From what frequency to what?
Yeah, I think it says here 5.9 to 60.
Yes.
Okay.
You can receive whole band 5.9 to 60 megahertz.
Okay.
That you can transmit only.
Okay. And how narrow is the filter?
That's important point. You can see the three crystals inside. So the width of the receiving bandwidth is not so narrow.
Yeah.
Maybe contester expect 300 hertz or 250 hertz, but this transceiver is around 500 hertz.
Yes.
So it is not focusing the contest or super DXing, but for casual use in daily operation outside and very relaxed QRP radio.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That'll work very well on CW, okay? But obviously it means that if you tune into a broadcast band, I'm sorry, not broadcast band, a shortwave radio station like Radio Netherlands or let's say Radio France International, it's not going to sound very good, is it?
Yeah. That's you are saying about the bandwidth of the filters.
Yeah.
This QRP transceiver, the amazing point is this is even the CW transceiver. You can change the mode from CW to the CW to SSB.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yes, here you can see the LSB. In this case, the bandwidth of the crystal filter is widened.
Yes. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Oh, that's good. And how stable is it? If you tune into a radio station, will it stay on frequency or will it drift?
Never drift. It's a DDS. So it's basically the stability is crystal quality.
Crystal quality.
Yeah.
All right. Look, that's a great great product. Is there a website people can go to find out about this?
Yes. If you please find the CR kits, where it is. Please Google the CR kit, and
Google that.
Yes, and then you can find this transceiver HT1A.
Yeah, that's very good. Okay, the only other question is, what does it cost? How much?
It costs about in US dollar or in Japanese?
US dollar.
Oh, US dollar. So a kit is about 150 US dollar.
Okay.
And assembled one is 175 US dollar. So very economic.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that looks like a great kit. one I might build myself in the future. It looks terrific. Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Arigato
Welcome to
gozaimasu.
Tokyo. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I liked that chassis in the display.
It
on
looks
that
nice,
box.
didn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice skit.
Yeah. Well, we've still got more videos from Peter and John here to go. Let's take a quick break, though, and check in with Professor Thomas and Dean Martin.
Okay.
Uh-oh, we might learn something.
At the end of each month, it's AmateurLogic's Ham College, the new show for those new to the hobby and those wanting to get into amateur radio.
Which of the following is a purpose of the amateur radio service as stated in the FCC rules and regulations?
That inductor and capacitor form a tuned circuit. That's how you tune the radio to the frequency that you want. The English language.
We lived in town. I liked it. I listened to mine a lot. It was really cool because you didn't have to have a battery to power it.
There's our homemade telegraph station. We can use it for long distance communications. Oh, like, 3 feet here?
Across the table. The answer is B. Voltage was named after Italian physicist Alessandro Volta.
We can see we're generating a little bit of electricity there. It's DC.
It's always great to go back and get a refresher.
It sure is.
A lot of that stuff, if you've been a ham for a while like we have, you don't really think about a lot of that stuff that often.
They didn't have electric screwdrivers in those days, so that's why we're not using ones.
That's why we went primitive with it.
Yeah. So let's see if we can hear anything when we fire off our spark gap transmitter.
Oh yeah.
Well, we didn't build anything or blow up anything today, but
the night's still young.
That just never gets old, man.
Yeah.
John Tarbox asked, have you done or will you be doing a segment on FT8 call? And I guess that's a new part of FT8 protocol that came out, Joe Taylor stuff. So and then there was another one on there regarding the same thing from David Telling.
Yeah, and FT8 call, that's a modified version of FT8 that it wasn't the FT8 crew that did it. Some other guy took that source and modified it so you could actually do QSOs
my
with
bad.
it.
I was thinking that the same guy.
No, it was Joe Taylor's, that group's code, but someone modified it since it's open source.
Okay.
So that you could do QSOs. But go ahead.
So anyway, David Telling Jr. on the Facebook group asks if he didn't know if anybody's tried the new FT8 call digital mode, but he was just going to let you know it's really slow. But like you had mentioned, that's kind of what happens when the reliability factors there. The data rate's going to go way down. But we haven't done anything with it. I think it just came out pretty recently.
It was very recent.
So we haven't done anything with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of us didn't do something with it at some point.
Yes.
It's
anything that helps during this, the solar minimum.
Oh yeah.
Right.
It might be slow, but if it works, it works.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus it's something new to play around with too. So everybody always wants to try something new.
Speaking of something new to try to play around with, Emil, what is this next thing we're going to look at here?
I'm thinking while Peter was at the Tokyo Hamfair, he found some type of experiment, possibly with polarity.
Magnet and current and power. Yes. Current.
Yep.
Magnet here.
Yep. Okay.
So this one changing the direction of the ampere.
Yeah, you're swapping the polarity. Yes.
But we still don't understand how it works.
It's just got to be an electromagnet where they're reversing the polarity.
Did you see one?
No, but there was a box and a wire.
I don't know what the center strip thing was, if that was a magnet or...
But I thought it looked like it was just some rails. We'll have to get some clarification from Peter on that. Unless John saw it and may know.
Yeah, we were discussing it before the show. Maybe there was an electromagnet at either end, but
yeah,
I didn't see any. Must have worked on smoke and mirrors.
Can't really see magnet.
Well, you can't, but still, I don't understand.
You need flux capacitor goggles for that.
Maybe so. John says we didn't understand either. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I feel much better now.
Well, it was interesting.
It was. Wow. Quite interesting. All right, this next one here, Tommy. What is this?
Looks like they ran into some AMSAT folks over there. Some, one and a half Canadians. One Canadian and one transplanted American over there.
I've run into a chap here from America. A chap, yes. A chap. Keith, VA3OB. VA, Canada or America? It's Canada, right, okay.
VA is Canada.
And
VA3
also,
is Canada.
Yep, and his wife also, Kate, VA3OGS.
Correct.
Okay.
We're both, I'm an American, she's Canadian. I married her, she dragged me across the border, and now I live in Canada.
I'm not leaving the Queen for anything.
No.
Well, we've got the Queen as well, so I don't.
That's right.
Yes, actually, there is that small matter of back taxes owing by the Americans.
We're not very good at paying taxes.
Anyway, Keith, you were saying that you're also head of what is it?
I was. I'm the past president of AMSAT North America. We're the satellite builders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently the treasurer.
Yep.
And as I was telling you before we started, we've got 3 of our Fox satellites are currently in orbit.
Yep.
We've got 2 more in the barn waiting to go.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully by the end of this year we'll have those 2 in orbit. One of them will be what we call an analog satellite, which is you use sideband CW rather than FM. The others are FM, essentially a bent pipe. You send FM up on one band, it comes down on the other.
Now, obviously you need, can you use like a handheld with one of these?
You certainly can. If you have a dual band handheld, or if you have a handheld on one frequency and let's say a scanner on another, where you can monitor both. These little Chinese Baofeng radios, $30, $40 US, I don't know what they are.
You can pick them up here for
for a song.
For a song.
You can use 2 radios or just one, and then a small. We use what's called an arrow antenna. You may have seen it. It's made out of arrow shafts, handheld, and with that and a couple of watts, you don't need a whole lot of power.
Oh, right.
You can work through these satellites. And of course, the nice part about it, I'm not sure what your licensing system is, but if you want to work long distance, you kind of have to have an HF license. Whereas with satellites, or if you're in a place where you can't put up a lot of antennas, like here in Japan, they're tight in terms of the way they live. And, we can work our satellites. These are small little CubeSats. They're literally this big.
Yeah.
You can work those off a balcony or out in the... we have one gentleman who lives in downtown Washington, D.C., lives in an apartment, and he comes outside in his parking lot when the satellite comes over.
Yeah, I've worked satellites on packet myself.
Yes.
Okay. Particularly the International Space Station. Haven't done voice, but it sounds like a lot of fun to do. Can I imagine you could actually do it with a vertical?
Yes, you can.
Yep.
You can. It's tougher. But a lot of people that don't have the rotatable antennas where you can do all, will set their antenna at about a 45-degree angle, and then just use the azimuth rotation, because the number of times that you're going to have a satellite directly overhead is not that often.
Yeah.
But usually you'll have something off to the east or the west of you. Most of our satellites are in polar orbits. They come over the poles, and so you'll have a couple of shots at them each day.
Yep.
And particularly for you folks down under, some of the satellites that we had in high orbits before were really favoring the northern hemisphere, whereas a lot of the low Earth, we call them low Earth satellites, are favoring everybody. So, these satellites are amazing. A lot of the technology now has shrunk down to the point where, and it's a lot of this technology that's going into them, that we can put a very small package together and fits in a standard size. And by the way, that CubeSat, you've heard of that?
Yes.
That CubeSat standard was developed by one of our AMSAT members and another partner at Stanford University. And that now has become a standard worldwide, and everybody is building satellites that go into those things, including some of the that come off the International Space Station.
Now, of course, it actually costs a little bit to put these things up there, okay?
Yes, it does.
And AMSAT is a non-profit organisation.
That is correct.
So, first of all, the obvious question is, where can people go to get more information about AMSAT?
AMSAT.org. www. Now, that's the U.S. version. AMSAT.org. I believe some of your Australian compatriots are building some of these small satellites as well. But yeah, www.amsat.org. There's all kinds of information. Just start clicking.
And of course, people can support,
they can.
donations.
We're very fortunate because NASA, the National Aerospace and Space Administration, has a program they call ILANA, which is Educational Launch of Nanosatellites. And what we're doing is we're partnering with educational institutions to carry experiments on board our satellites. And if you look at the way our satellites are put together, there's several different circuit boards. One is a transmitter, one's a receiver, one's the battery, one's a
It's
computer.
like a layered.
It's layered. And then there's 3 spots at the top we call TSFR, this space for rent. And so what we'll do is we'll partner with a university that wants to do some kind of radio-related research, and then we submit a proposal to NASA. NASA puts us in the pipe and says, yeah, we can launch you guys. And so we get a free launch out of that.
Well,
that's what we're doing. Our next generation is called Golf, and it's going to be, rather than just a 1U, what we call a 1U satellite, it'll be a 3U satellite and have a little more power, maybe into a higher orbit. So we have a larger footprint for communication over a longer period of time.
Well, that'll be great. It all sounds great. And I think that for schools particularly, like if you're a teacher who's a qualified ham,
Absolutely.
This is a great way to engage with youth and get them interested
in
the
fact,
hobby.
the whole ARIS, the Amateur Radio on the International Space Station, which is also comes under, or at least on the North American part, comes under our umbrella. We support them. That is a fantastic program because it gets school children into direct voice-to-voice contact with an astronaut or a cosmonaut, and watching something that changes lives.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really changes lives. But you're right, we're nonprofit and we're always asking for donations. Even though we get a free launch, it still costs us hundreds of thousands of US dollars to put the satellites together, and then we have to test them. They have to be all tested in vacuum chambers, and we put them on a shake table to make sure they work. The the work that goes into the ARIS project to carry something on board the International Space Station is extremely expensive because we have to pay NASA back in some cases for some of the work that we do for them to certify to fly us our package on the International Space Station, because it's a human-tended operation, and they have to make sure everything's safe and we're not going to cause any kinds of problems. But yes, AMSAT.org, that's the American group. There's other groups around the world. There's AMSAT UK, there's AMSAT DL. I believe we have an equivalent down in VK land for folks. But it's an exciting part. I like to say this, that amateur radio is a multifaceted operation. And if you get tired of something, you can always try something else. And right now, with the HF bands not being as propagating as they have been, a lot of people are saying, gee, I'd really like to try this. And so there's a way to do that without expending a whole lot of money, and that's what you and I were talking about with a small handheld, and just see if it's something you like to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, anyway, nice to meet you, Keith.
Absolutely, you have my card.
And also, nice to meet you, Kate.
You have my card, and if there's any other questions or anyone wants to drop a note to me, there's email addresses there where you can call up. And we look forward to seeing you see you on the birds.
No worries. Okay, thank you.
Man, I used to be pretty interested in that a long time ago.
Me too.
Remember when George 2 NC5Y was still alive, and he was into it. He used to like to go over there and check that stuff out.
Yeah.
Neat stuff.
You ever done much satellite work, Emil?
Well, I bought Icom's 9100, and I've yet to use it for that, but I do. It's definitely on my bucket list, like Tommy's bucket list, to have azimuth elevation controlled antenna array out here hitting that 9100, if not some other radio from Icom.
Yeah, you know, with the technology we got today with the Arduinos and the Raspberry Pis and all, you got to figure you could build one up.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've absolutely seen the kits and the people doing it, and looking for that just right fit for the cheap old budget.
Cheap old budget.
Yeah, that'd be nice to have. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, you know, while Peter and John and John's wife were there, they won awards.
No way.
They sure did.
Victor Kilo 3 Papa Bravo. Yep.
Eyeball Rama.
I was just asking John over in the chat room there. All three of them got the award, but they don't know what it was.
Really?
No.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I noticed the guys who were giving them the award was kind of laughing, so I really don't know. I think it's just an award to have an award, but just like that magnetic thing, none of us are really sure.
It's a major award.
This whole show's kind of been a mystery, hasn't it?
Kind of. Some of it. But it's been fun, though.
Well, we got one final piece of video tonight. Emil, tell us what is happening here.
Well, I think Peter and John pretty much wrapped it up and had a close of it.
It's been a couple of days since the end of Hamfair, and unfortunately we filmed some closing comments at Hamfair, and I don't know if they got deleted or just never got recorded in the first place, but so we've met up a few days later, and John and Diana are just about to head back to the US, and so how about give me some closing thoughts, John, about Hamfair and also about Japan in general.
Okay, Hamfair was amazing. It was really, really amazing. But the biggest takeaway I got was the kids in that area there, all soldering, making things. That was amazing. You know, I've never seen that before. I've heard it's happened at Hamfairs in the US, but I've never seen it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a big representation of new vendors or people selling new stuff, not so much second-hand stuff like you would get at, say, Huntsville, but, I have to say that it was at least the size of Huntsville in terms of, the amount of exhibitor space, etc. The exhibitor facilities were first class, and it's been great. Now, what about Japan in general, John?
Oh, it's amazing. That's all I can say. It's amazing. The people are great. The food is great. The hospitality is great. The city's great. And you have things like that.
Now, apologies for getting a little bit of wind noise here, but that's just unavoidable. It's also getting a little bit late in the day, so it might appear a little bit dark. That's Tokyo Skytree, by the way, behind us. I was up there a little bit earlier today, and yeah, it's a tourist trap, but it's worth paying the $20 American to go up and have a look. It's quite good. My thoughts on Japan, well, since Hamfair I've been up to Shibu Onsen, which is a spa town, and I've been attacked by wild monkeys. I've also been down to Kyoto and Hiroshima and Miyajima. And the thing that stands out for me is the friendliness of the people. You can get towers like that and all sorts of other interesting things all around the world, but in terms of politeness and people going out of their way to help you, Japan is a first class place to visit. It's also extremely safe. Now, of course, you've got to use some common sense like you would anywhere, but you can go out late at night and you'll feel quite safe, and there's plenty of people around and plenty of police. Anyway, thanks for coming, John.
Hey, Peter, thank you.
And
pleasure.
thanks also to Diana, who doesn't want to appear on screen.
Yeah.
John's wife. Come on, say hello. Yeah, and who's helped us out with the camera work. So 73 from all of us, and do come visit Japan and Hamfair.
73 to everybody as well.
Yeah, thanks, John and Peter and John's wife, and I don't remember his wife's name, but we really appreciate it.
She must like getting in front of the camera like mine does.
Yep.
You can point that camera at her and she'll like take off. She doesn't like get in front of it at all.
Looked like a great Hamfest there. I could see, and from what we saw there, they only talked with people who spoke English. But you got to figure they had to hunt pretty hard to find people that.
Yeah, so I kind of wondered about that. Like, I wonder how it is to go to that and speak a different language than the native language, if it was difficult to get around.
I got to imagine it is, yeah. But I've never done it, so I don't really know.
I definitely bring Google Translate with me.
You do?
I would.
Yeah. I do that every time I come to Louisiana. No, really, I think it'd be tough. Certainly one of those bucket list experiences, though, huh?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yep. I'd like to go there. I'd like to go to the one in Germany.
Yep. Do you think we could enlist the Cajun Navy to kind of get us a cheap trip over there, Emil?
Yeah, it'll be cheap. I'm not sure you're going to make it, but it'll be cheap.
You think the bass boats will make it?
Japan. I don't know, Tommy.
Yeah. Have plenty of good food before it sunk, though.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
thank you, Peter and John. That's awesome for sharing. I saw some of those videos he was talking about on his Peter's Facebook page. The spa city he was talking about, and he's got all kind of stuff out there.
Oh, yeah? I need to check it out. I haven't been on Facebook a whole lot lately.
Well, you notice I just woke up that radio that was sleeping over here.
It's ready to go.
Hey, what is that?
That is the Icom IC 7300 that we're going to be giving away next month.
Yep, 1 month from tonight.
As a matter of fact, we got a full prize package there, the IC 7300 software-defined radio from Icom, an MFJ 2286 big ear antenna.
Not the big ear.
Oh, big stick antenna.
Oh.
Right there.
Right.
The Hall ICM microphone for older Icom rigs.
Mm-hmm.
Push the talk button there on it. Icom mic connector already. The Heil BM17 headset.
Yeah, if these don't make it to my house first.
Well, if they get out of the shack, I'm thinking.
I like those.
I used them. Last time we talked about them, I said I'm going to try those out. Well, I actually got them on the air this week and tried them out. And they sounded good, sounded fine, very comfortable, lightweight. I could see you easily being able to wear them for a long time. And the guys I talked with said that the audio sounded good on it. They could hardly tell I'd swapped to a headset.
Yeah. I seriously may look at getting one of those for the house. I like it a lot.
Yep. The MFJ power supply, what is that, Tommy?
That is the MFJ 4230 DMP 12 volt 30 amp power supply, switching power supply.
Yep. And of course, to hook this radio to that antenna that email's covering up back there, that one.
Yep.
You're going to need some coax, and we've got 50 foot of MFJ American-made RG8X coax with the connectors already on it. And in case you are a technician or a general and need to upgrade, we got Gordon West Amateur Radio training manuals here.
The non-transparent version.
Right. Yeah, this one in the back. Yeah, that one is kind of...
Yeah, that was see-through.
Yeah. Can't email. He'll block anything. But either the general or extra class guide available there.
Pretty nice package.
Very nice package. That radio has got a RF direct sampling system, great DSP noise reduction.
You're going to get a couple of these babies.
You're going to get a couple of faux gold PL259s from the private AmateurLogic stock there. The last of a series.
Yeah, we can't be responsible if you actually put RF through them.
Yep. It's got great RMDR and phase noise characteristics, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a 4.3-inch color touchscreen display, a built-in automatic antenna tuner. It's got everything you'd want in a rig and at a very good price. And this one particularly because somebody's going to be getting this one for free.
That's an excellent price.
Sounds great to me.
That is a most excellent price. Of course, a great power supply there. We've talked about it before. That one is actually mine, but we've got one in a box for the winter. The big stick antenna, very interesting antenna. You use the big ear.
Yeah,
this
I've got
one
the big ear.
is very similar. It's 17-foot telescopic. Adjust the height to change the tuning as well as retap the coil here. And that one covers what?
7 to 55 megahertz, and it'll handle up to 1 kW.
Well, that's pretty good. I would think you probably wouldn't want to be running more than 1 kW sitting right next to it.
You probably wouldn't, unless you're trying to pop popcorn.
Yep. The Howell ICM mic, of course, designed for older Icom rigs. And the new emergency communicator headset there, like I say, those sounded great. And Gordo's books, no better resource studying.
Yeah, absolutely.
For your amateur radio
great
exams.
books. We use these, reference them from time to time on Ham College.
Yep. So, how do you qualify to enter? Well, you got to be a licensed U.S. or Canadian amateur radio operator with a U.S. or Canadian shipping address.
Yep. You can only do one entry per contestant. Sending more than one entry will disqualify the applicant. So please don't send more than one.
Right, and the winner is going to be responsible if there are any taxes incurred in it. The winner agrees to the use of his or her call sign and name and any promotional or news items related to the contest, which basically all that's ever been is we just announce, hey, this lucky ham won.
Yeah. And the contestants must not be an employee or affiliate of AmateurLogic, Icom, MFJ Enterprises, Heil Sound, or Gordon West.
And how do you enter? Well, you send an email to contest2018 at AmateurLogic.TV with only your call sign in the subject line. That's very important. Only your call sign in the subject line. And include your name, call sign, class of license, and address in the email message. And submissions must be made between now and when, Tommy?
October the 11th.
Basically what we're going to do is from the pool of qualified entrants there, we're going to draw a random number and determine who wins. And that'll be announced on the October 15th episode of AmateurLogic.TV. Now, before you go register, if you've already registered, don't do it again. If you're interested in the contest, go to this address, AmateurLogic.TV/contest. You'll get all the details there. Do that to double check them, make sure that your entry is correct. And,
please read over the instructions
and good luck in the contest.
Good luck in the contest.
Well, we thank everyone for being here with us tonight. It has been another fun show. It's always fun for us to go to Huntsville. One day, Tokyo, man.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. Emil, can we get you to go with us?
Put me in, Coach.
Okay.
All right.
We'll have to figure out how to get over there cheaply.
Well, that's why I said put me in, Coach.
Oh, okay.
Or the overhead bins or wherever you can sneak me in.
You see, you got dual purpose out of that.
Yeah.
Right there.
I see what you did there. That was good.
You see what I did there?
All right. That was good.
It's better than expected, really. That's very good. You get 2 double cheapness points for that, Emil.
Double cheap, huh? You got all of that Heil equipment over there, and I just can't help myself from mentioning. I would just happen to be perusing 40 meters the other night, and I sure heard a familiar voice talking on 40 meters for the Route 66 contest. I could swear it was Bob Heil working W6R.
And it probably was, because I know he was participating in that event. And I saw your post, but I was about 30 minutes late. And by the time I tuned in, he was gone. I blame it on the transmitter, because I had a transmitter site that went down and I had to make a trip out there.
Oh, man.
I got back and I missed the contest, or the special event.
That was one heck of a pileup. If you talk to him, he's going to explain it, man, that he had people from all over hitting him.
Yep. I think it's still going on right now, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Is it through the weekend? I don't remember the exact length of the event. Yeah, I think it's still going on. So look for it on the air, Route 66 special event.
Speaking of event, don't forget about the D-Star QSO party.
That's on the 22nd?
At 0 UTC, all the way up to 2400 UTC. Guess that would be 2359 UTC, wouldn't it? What are you doing, looking for the piece of paper?
Yeah.
It's in here.
Oh, it's in here. How did you hide it in there?
When you weren't looking.
Okay. All right, well, before we go, a couple of things up. Those posts that you saw tonight, they came from our social media networks, and that is what?
Facebook.com/group/AmateurLogic.TV. We also have a Ham College group there.
Yep.
On Facebook.
And at the Google Plus community for AmateurLogic. It's one of those for Ham College as well. And you can follow us on the Twitters.
Yep, at AmateurLogic and at Ham College. And we're also on Instagram. Although that's mostly for when we go to things. We'll post some pictures from time to time there. But if you do Instagram, follow us there. AmateurLogic's the name.
Yep. And if you want to know what's been going on in the episodes of AmateurLogic, go to our show notes wiki, AmateurLogic.TV/wiki. Our friend Dan, N9LVS, does that for us every month.
Yep.
And, some folks may be wondering tonight why we've got these shirts on. Why you've got an Alabama shirt and I've got an Ole Miss shirt on here.
Yep. Well, tomorrow's the game day. The two teams are playing, so I thought I'd go ahead and start rubbing it in a little early.
Yep. Well, when I saw you came in here with that, I knew I had to go put on an Ole Miss shirt.
You knew something was up, didn't you?
Yep. Although both of us are Southern Miss dads.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. My son went there.
I've got a daughter there. So.
George, I got one more thing.
Yeah.
You showed my picture of the beanie cap there from Mike VE3MIC.
Yeah.
I'm suspicious of something I got in the mail recently that shows a new certification that I've obtained. And I'm thinking that might have come through. Thinking that this is a high honor, and I just wanted to thank whoever that was, Mike.
Yeah. You never know. We have mysterious packages show up here in the mail.
They do, but it's always good to have that certification. If your current job doesn't pan out, you're certified for something else.
Yep.
Awesome.
And you might want to get an endorsement for cable tie removal as well.
Oh, removal.
If you've got the tools, you can do that as well. Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. It's been another fun show. Hey, why don't we do this again next week and clear out this table here? Get rid of that stuff.
Oh, next week? How about we wait about a month before we do that?
Maybe so. I need an air conditioner to run at least another week. It's gotten so hot in here tonight.
Yeah. So, and again, thanks to John and Peter for sending the coverage in from Hamfair over there. That was really interesting. Appreciate you guys taking the time to do that.
Yeah. All right. Join us toward the end of the month for the next episode of Ham College.
I'll be doing my part from remote.
You will be doing it remotely, won't you?
Yep.
You got a special light just for that event.
It's a very special light.
Well, you kind of needed one.
I literally did buy a light because it's pretty hard to get decent lighting in a hotel room. But
yep.
Anyway, so
yep. Well, before we go, any final words?
Nope. Good luck in the contest, and if you haven't entered, go ahead and do it.
Yep. Emil?
No, the only thing I'm going to say right now is Godspeed to the people over on the East Coast, because I think they're getting pounded right about now.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And stay vigilant. It's not over yet, right? The whole thing, season.
No.
So keep a watch. Stay safe.
Lots of stuff still out there in the Gulf.
That,
or out in
Atlantic.
Yeah. So, with that, 7-3, hotty toddy.
Roll Tide.
Go Tigers.
See y'all next month. Well, actually, I've answered the email, but Actually, I've answered the email. Man.
Arnie, take 5.
Yeah. Well, Emil, you got an email
Say that
for
3
us tonight.
times real fast.
This is an actual email, isn't it?
So?
You think so?
Oh, we're going to look at, Peter ran into across the QRP kit there. So we can take a look at that. Nope.
No, I don't think that's what we're going to look at next.
Well, let's...
You know, I was thinking earlier, and maybe I'll just keep thinking about it because I can't remember. Well, that's just it. It can get through under soft touch.
Really?
Yeah.